Welcome to Star Citizen and the Ship's Guide. Today we take a closer look to the Argo MOLE.
Out here, you've got your crew and your ship. The only thing that matters is getting the job done. This is your workshop, your playground, your command center. This is your multi-operator laser extractor. Argo Astronautics, building your future.
And like in every ship guide, we start with the exterior, then we go over to the interior, test the fighting abilities of the ship. Even if it's a mining ship, of course we take a closer look at what we can do with the ship and where the focus is. Finally, the characteristics in atmosphere flight, and at the end where we get the ship and what we have to spend for it. The last part is a short summary if I would recommend the ship to you. The Argo MOLE is one of the current 2 mining ships in the game and is designed for a crew of 2 to 4 players. Of course, it is also possible to go out with Argo alone, but later on we will see that I don't really recommend it, as it is associated with some inconvenience. The MOLE is classified as a medium-sized ship and has a cargo capacity of 96 SU, which are used for the minerals we mine. And this industrial ship has a length of 39 meters, a width of 70 meters and a height of 8 meters. The maximum speed is 1090 meters per second and the recommended combat speed, or better working speed, is 128 meters per second, which is not really fast. As components, the MOLE has mostly used level 2 components, except for the power plant and the coolers, which are available in level 3, so they are actually for ships of size large. As armament, the MOLE has 2 laser repeaters of size 2 and, as a mining ship, 3 hardpoints for mining lasers. They are also equipped in size 2, which is the maximum actually. You can buy the MOLE for 5.1 million Alpha USC on Hurston in Lorville at New Deal in-game. The design and the material appearance of the MOLE makes a good and high quality impression, and as an industrial ship of the mining category it is definitely one of the higher quality ships in the verse. The whole design reminds me of a high-end construction vehicle and definitely fits the purpose. It doesn't look cheap, but functional and industrial. Therefore, the look fits the purpose very well and it's fun to travel with the MOLE, because you automatically feel like being in a professional special purpose vehicle. And since there is currently only the MISC Prospector as an alternative for mining in space, which cannot really compete with the Argo as a single-seater, the MOLE has a unique selling point so far. Here we can do mining with the crew, and with the maximum crew of 4 people we have the possibility to mine larger asteroid deposits or planetary minerals very fast and effectively. As with the MISC Prospector, the containers for the collected or mined materials are stored under the ship and can be dropped in the future. This means that in the future we can drop off these containers and have them collected by a transporter, and then they have them processed in a refinery. However, this has not yet been implemented, at least the dropping of cargo. The refinery system is also not yet in the game, but that shouldn't be too long in coming, since it will be implemented with the 3.12 and we won't have to wait much longer. To get to the second part of the test, the interior, we get to the interior of the ship via the extendable elevator. After getting out of the elevator, we enter the main engine room, where we have access to components and information displays and indicators. In the later game, these rooms will certainly be of even greater relevance or importance. Here we see the elevator again, and this ladder here on the right side leads to the upper area. There is no other elevator, which means we spend a lot of time in the MOLE climbing ladders. On the right side after this door we come to one of the two mining out triggers. Both sides are identical in the mole. That means we have a locker and an access to the mining room. After sitting down in the chair, it not only moves forward to our mining laser and the displays, but the whole room moves a good distance away from the ship, which increases the range of the individual lasers. Here we have then the possibility to access our mining instruments and the laser. The all-around view and the swivel range of the outer rooms is quite good, and we have the possibility to coordinate with the other mining booms and work together on larger lumps. As mentioned before, the mining booms on the right and the left side of the ship are the same, which means we have storage space and access to the mining laser. To get to the upper part of the ship, we take the ladder that leads us to the main area. After another lock, we come to a lounge with seating and a kitchen. As well, access to the sleeping facilities. Here we have 4 beds, but no division for a captain, as we are all workers. In the lounge we have storage facilities again, and at the end there is not a door but a shower. If you are looking for a toilet, you won't find it here on the ship, but the shower will do. At the other door, that means the one after entering the upper floor on the right side, we get into an engine room again, but with more components and again a ladder, for the last time the mining laser. This is the central mining laser, which is located directly underneath the cockpit. When we take a seat here, our chair also moves forward a little bit, but we don't have such an out trigger like on the right and left side. In order to make the coordination with the pilot and frictionless as possible, it is advisable that the pilot holds his nose a little bit higher than what he sees in front of him. This way the worker, who is centrally lasering down here at the mining laser, always had a good view of the material to be mined. In the cockpit there is a co-pilot seat in addition to the pilot seat and relatively much currently unused space. The systems are very well arranged and clearly arranged, and we have several MFDs as well as the typical mining indicators like dangerous cargo or the eject button. The overview in the cockpit is very good because there are many glass elements, and so the view to the outside fits the work it eases. But let's go to the next part, the fighting abilities of the Argo MOLE. The MOLE is definitely not a small fighting ship that can be compared to a 600i or Andromeda in size. The armament with level 2 repeaters is not really competitive or suitable for combat, but we can take out smaller attackers. I would recommend you to take some escort with you if you go into dangerous regions. The defensive abilities of the MOLE are reasonable because of its equipment, and you can take 1 or 2 hits. Defensively it can be compared to a freelancer because it also has 2 middle shield generators. The Argo is equipped with the Chumali shield generators, which can easily take 1 or 2 hits. The biggest shortcoming is the bad maneuverability, but the MOLE is of course no battleship. And that's why we come to the main part of this test, the mining abilities. The Argo is the strongest mining ship currently in the verse, and you can see that too. With 3 really manned mining towers, we got every stone broke down in no time and can mine here relatively easy and without problems, fast and a lot. But first of all, my biggest criticism is that you have really fly to 4 in the MOLE, you have a relatively poor income. If we don't find really high quality quantanium here, we have the problem not to find enough worthwhile material for dismantling in the medium term in order to make a good cut here, which would be comparable with a prospector or even a rock. However, I would recommend you to take your finger off the melt down button again or to upgrade it, because the refinery system is just around the corner, and here you can expect that mining will get a much stronger focus again and can also become much more lucrative. Therefore, the mole is definitely a good source of income, and especially with players who are with you on the road, a good possibility to start in the verse or experience team play. At the moment, I would rather recommend you to go alone with the prospector, even if you want to mine with several players. If all prospectors are borrowed or even bought, then you have the possibility to earn more UEC per person than if you are traveling with 4 players in the mole. But as I said before, the whole thing depends on the current game version and not the mole. Because just a small example, if we have to add another volume size stone, these stones that we can't crack with a prospector, then we need a mole that we have to use. And here we probably have the biggest bonus at the most profit we can get. My recommendation: I currently use the mole only for asteroid mining. There it is also a video guide for this in a mining update, which follows soon. Here I show you the possibility to find a rarely visited asteroid field relatively easy, which is not overcrowded and where you can find relatively good stones. Because in the asteroid field the maneuverability is negated as the prospector. Because the stones we find here are mostly bigger and there the effort is worthwhile than a little bit more with the mole. But now again a point. If you solo on the way with a mole, this has a larger cargo space, that means 96 SCU, which is almost the triple that a prospector can collect. However, we have the big disadvantage that every time after we have approached an asteroid, we have to get out of the pilot's seat and walk to the next mining laser. Of course, this is always a time factor, and if we want to correct our course here, or have to because we are no longer in the range of the laser, then we have a lot of time lost here. But here I give you a tip. If you are on your own, we take our nose up about 10 to 50 degrees from our target asteroid to be able to take the middle mining laser under the ship. And here we don't take the ladder but simply jump down, so we save ourselves along descent, and the injury here occurs very rarely, even it's only a few percent. So we then have the possibility to access the laser directly and can mine even if the stone breaks. Here we don't have to park again. But as I said before, the advantages of the mole are really in the team play. If you have several players with you, so we have the possibility to mine bigger asteroid fields fast and effective. We can be a little bit more choosy here, especially when it comes to the Quantanium area. With large occurrences of this, we have much more chances to win with the mole. But also with Quantanium mining, here's the times don't change anything, and we have the time pressure that we have to get rid of the Quantanium in a few minutes before the whole thing becomes unstable and tears our ship apart. So we come to the last part of the test, the atmospheric flight characteristics of the mole. These are surprisingly relatively good and easy to control, and we can fly precisely over the planet's surface. The whole thing is very cumbersome and it needs pre-planning, but the mole is really bored in the wind, which means that atmospheric influences are most not noticeable still here. The whole thing is not an easy racer, but it's fun to shoot over the surface, especially with mining works in the outriggers. So I would give the mole a relatively good certificate concerning the atmospheric flight characteristics. Let's see where we can get the mole for real money. The mole is actually always available in the pledge store, and we can buy it directly at RSI for about $365 or Euro. In the grey market we can find the mole for about $270, and at Star Hangar we have a similar price range. So the mole is an expensive but also lucrative ship if you use the right way. I hope you enjoyed the video and you leave me a like and a subscribe here. The Argo MOLE as a mining ship, as a pure industry ship, is a good way to earn money, especially if you have friends with you. Otherwise, solo mining trips are more extended because you have more cargo capacity. However, the server performance is currently so it is possible that you will be disconnected after an hour or more, and the whole time alone in the mole would have been for free. That's why I still recommend rock mining as the best way to make money in the industry, or alternatively the prospector. which has less cargo capacity, but the chances of a connection loss and then a loss are lower. But in mining in general, we never lose anything, because we don't have any UAC use. Only the time is gone and we just have to start again. I would be interested in your comments and remarks about mining or the mole, and I really try to answer them all. Currently there's another giveaway, a Tavern War uniform in white and the PC game Cyberpunk 2077. And the most important part at the end, thank to all Patreons and channel members. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. You guys rock! I say thanks, and as always, see you in the verse.